We stand up. You're watching the Brothers of Legacy. We don't stand out. We stand up.
Sorry, looped it. All right, welcome to the Brothers of Legacy. Appreciate you guys for being here, rocking with us, hanging with us. Another Mental Health Wednesday in the building. All right, right on time. Lit up, Kaneem. We got left in the building. Thomas to my left,
I
right.
gotta laugh because you're like another Mental Health Wednesday, and Kaneem pops in. You're like right on time, like he's a mental health client.
I don't appreciate your humanity.
I thought that was
too early.
Timing
Too early.
was-
Good morning. Good morning to you, brother.
Morning. How you gentlemen feeling, man?
Doing well, man.
It is all good.
In the words of the prophet James Brown, I feel good.
All right.
Oh man.
I felt a little, I guess, jovial this morning. The word of the day, jovial. I felt a little jovial this morning. And I was with you while it bang all morning tonight. When I got the car.
Hey, Kaneem, did you see Noah yesterday?
Did I say who, brother?
Noah.
Trevor Noah.
Oh, because the flood, Noah, the ark, Noah and the ark. That's
Oh no.
It's the second one.
I think the last biblical movie I saw was the Ten Commandments.
No.
It's all right.
Oh man,
It's fast. Moment is fast.
It was the rain reference. The rain reference.
Noah.
Oh, yeah. I came out of the rain yesterday. Yeah, it was ugly yesterday. I was out there in the street late too.
So I got a question: is the word jovial supposed to be used outside of December? I'm just wondering. I thought that was a December word.
See, I was gonna let him slide. Since it is a December word.
According to Matt Jesus, it's jovial every day. It's jovial every day.
Oh, we had it our past.
I just want to make sure.
All right.
Jovial all the time.
Just want
All
to
right,
make
we
sure.
got Brian McCory in the building, and of course it's Wednesday. We got the genius, Matt Genius, in the building. Appreciate you being here, setting us straight, getting our minds right, helping us through this week. So before we jump into our topic real quick, just let y'all know it is National Houseplant Appreciation Day.
Man, I need to be persecuted then. I've been for a long time. I was last night. I walked in. I got this big old plant. It got elephant ears on it. One of them big long. Man, it looks sick. It looks like it might be in stage 4 of
That's stage 4.
It might be ready to go. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I think if I don't get the kids to water it, it might be fertilized in about 2 weeks.
No, it's not.
All right. Well, we're
pretty
praying.
bad.
We're praying. So before we started, I told Larry about what day it is, and he was telling me about the cactus he has in his house, and it made me think about the time when we saw a live cactus. Have you guys ever messed with a live cactus, like coming out of the ground, live cactus? Anybody?
Which kind of live cactus? Because there's multiple live cactuses, and I messed with all of them.
But the one that I unfortunately.
No!
The little furry one that you barely even rub over, and you get stuck with the whole bunch of stuff.
It was. I think it was like it was coming out of a rock, right? Because we was just walking. It was coming out of the rock. It's not like the big joints. It was like coming out, and we cut some off and put them into a bag. Just very quickly.
What
we didn't realize, just a little cactus knowledge here. What we didn't realize, cactus, well, the ones that we picked up, the little spiky things begin to just fall off. And they're very, very fine. And of course, it went through the bag into our skin. Yeah, and you don't know it though. You don't really know it until you touch your skin and realize you've been stuck 1,000 times. And it was horrible. It was horrible. We had walked for a while. I think AJ, my son, was about 3 or 4 because he was walking with us, unfortunately. So he had a few on him too, you know. Yeah. So just a little cactus knowledge there. When he said that, I was like, never again. Never again.
Cactus
not
is
live.
one of those things that
Untamed cactus.
you usually look at the one that has the big old long prickly things on it. And you think, oh, if I can avoid that or knock those off. It's the ones that have the ones that get in there and just irritants. And
yes, they just it's like they just and you don't really know it till either your clothes touch your skin, you know, like, oh, and then you realize you got 10,000 that you gotta literally like pull out. I mean, it's like, yeah, it's wild. No little cactus.
You know what's worse than them little small cactuses?
What's that?
If you accidentally get bombarded with some fiberglass insulation, you done had a bad day.
the pink roll,
hey, you know really? Pink powder. Hey, go ahead. Hey, go ahead and rub up against some pink powder.
Really?
See how you feel.
Hey Sam, how you doing, Sam? Good morning,
Larry.
Good morning,
what up, Sam?
Hey,
Larry. Why do you have a cactus? Just a question. Like, is there a specific reason or?
Well, so my wife has been trying to do the whole decorating the bathrooms. We put shelving on the wall, and the shelves were bare, so she put some things on. So we went to the Home Depot and we picked the cactus because we both are horrible with keeping up with water and plants.
Yeah, that's you got a perfect plant. You got a perfect plant.
She got two baby cacti, right? But first she ordered some fake ones for the one bat for the powder room. Okay. They flourishing. They like, you good.
They flourish.
They fake. Hey. The ones in our bathroom, we had 2. I also know that the other day I saw this leaves in the place of where one was. So we don't have 2, we have 1.
Well, but I was like, man, someone kills a cactus, y'all don't need no plants. I'm just.
Oh yeah, we don't.
You know what? Thomas is on one today. Thomas is like, tell him why you mad, son.
So I've always wanted to deal with a bonsai tree, right?
Like and Mr. Miyagi, you want to clip it and cut it? That's
exactly right. My mother-in-law got me a little starter one and everything.
Okay.
When I realized that I needed to water it more and more, it was too late. I was talking to it. I was like, please grow for me, please grow. I'm so sorry. Can you please grow? I'm talking to you.
Larry came back 6 weeks later and was like, oh yeah, I got a plant.
right.
I got a bonsai tree. Oh man.
I'm gonna do it right one of these days.
Oh man. All right.
See, I used to do it all the time too, Jeff. When I was younger, I was an overwater king. Oh, I think we should water plants today, Mom. Let's go water the plants.
Yeah.
Like, you stop doing that, please?
Yeah. Overwater. All right. Does anybody else have plans? No?
There's an
echo. Look around.
Somebody got an echo.
Yeah.
I have many plants.
You said you have many plants?
I know my boy Reese got some plants. Much trash he be talking.
I got 6 plants.
I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got 5 plants in here in my office.
Let's see. I got 1.
Be real or fake?
3, 4, 5, 6. I got 6 plants.
Real?
Real.
Fake is not a plant.
Yeah. That's not a plant. That's a
decoration.
Decoration.
See, it identifies as a plant. If it identifies as a plant, it's a plant.
Right.
Wow.
It's just the same as y'all calling what's that? A bean burger a burger when it ain't a burger. It's just a bunch of beans together.
There you go.
I was about to go with the man answer. Can a blow up doll be a woman? Just saying.
So what's that?
Can a blow up doll be a woman?
Oh, well, if we're gonna just prolong it.
That'll be a no.
Oh boy,
Right.
You gotta. Now see, now we gotta have Matt. We gotta have Matt interject because our brains then went totally left. Like, shit, wow, that's cold blooded.
All right,
but man, bring us on back, man.
I do not identify with our. My brain is operating just fine.
Yeah, bring us on back. He said,
still on the plants. I actually think I have about 13 plants.
Wow.
And I can't trust anyone else to take care of them.
Matt, they wasn't affected. I'm still affected, man. Can you hold me down? Because I'm
kerfuffle. That's what it is.
Right. You do the water. You water with water bottle, or you got water? You got to put one of them watering buckets.
Oh Lord, he's going to get it. All right. Oh,
what are we talking about?
Kerfuffle.
Okay. All right.
Kerfuffle, right? It's a bit of a kerfuffle here. All right. So today,
thank you.
I'm transitioning. I got you, Kadeem. I got it.
You gotta clean it up.
Wait a minute. There's more.
You said, wait, there's more. All right. We got Mr. Matt Genius in the building. We're gonna get to our topic because it's getting a little out of hand right now. All right. I don't want to cancel.
Thomas
is out of hand. I done heard some worse stuff on here. I'm just saying.
National House Day.
You are the first one. You're the first one, Thomas, to talk about blow up dolls.
Well, I'm just trying to make a point.
That's coming from Kaneem. That's coming from Kaneem.
So, I just want you guys to understand there's a difference between stuff. You can't just be like, it's fake, it's a plant, it represents plants, a plant. No.
I hear you trying to clean it up, dog. But it's
all right.
I did go to an extreme, but it made my point. You see what I'm saying?
Your point was made.
No, we're not really trying to see what you're saying.
Well, thank you. That's all good, though.
Sound like that needs to be on Brother Legacy After Dark.
Where I'm at, it's still dark.
9 p.m. Eastern Standard. All right, Mr. Matt Genius.
I think that's a great idea, man. Let's run that show tonight.
I don't think we want to put that on. At least we don't want to record it.
Right. We don't really want to record that one. All right.
BOL uncut. BOL uncut.
Didn't you just get
married? Put that in Patreon. I got to pay for that.
Alone.
Stop it.
Right. He said, you just get married.
Oh, man.
All right. Moving on.
I got actual tears in my eyes right now. Stop it.
Right.
Brian's like, I've been gone a week, and this is what it goes.
Like, what has happened?
This is your fault.
Hey, Brian, go on, bless us with some scripture so we can get back on course.
Right. See what happens. We got out of control, bro. Not out of control, and I can't wrangle it back. I can't.
Yeah,
oh man,
Thomas in the middle of his honeymoon, lusting about.
Hey,
bring us on back. Brian, bring us on back, Brian. Bring us on back, brother. Bring us on back, Brian.
Let me understand. No, I can't go any farther left. I need somebody a little more conservative on here. I can't have nobody going further left.
You know you ain't right.
And we going. All All right. Right, Ryan. Look, a squirrel. Right, Ryan.
There we go. There we go.
All right.
Man, y'all got tears in my eyes.
Welcome to the Brothers of Legacy. Make sure you sharing. Sharing is caring. And let everybody know that we are on Tuesday through Friday at 9 a.m. So today's topic: are we dealing with collective trauma? I'm gonna just put it into the hands of Matt, and he's gonna have at it. We got some great things coming up. I'm just gonna leave. I'm just gonna leave, and I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna step into the audience. I'm just gonna step down off the stage. I'm gonna step into the audience.
Hey, wherever you want to start from, man. Just throw it out there, brother.
Oh man. So now I gotta take over the show now.
You gotta take over. Here, let me hold on.
What's the topic?
I'll just shift you right here.
Are we dealing with collective
take that
trauma?
spot right there.
You said collective trauma?
Yeah, it was something I brought up last week, and
yes,
we were gonna kind of dive in a little bit this week.
I kind of just dove right in. At least
yeah, you gotta put some context behind that.
All right.
I tell you, let me sit on the couch for you, Matt. Let me sit on the couch for you, man.
I got you.
Right.
So check this out. So I was talking to my wife, right, and we was talking about our parents. So her mom died, my mom died, her dad's still living, and my dad died, right? So I guess we both got to reminiscing about our moms, and I was like, I don't know. I always talk about my mom, but I don't never talk about my dad as far as when I reminisce about memories. And then when I do talk about my dad, I always it's never in a positive light. It's always in a negative light. So every time I bring his name up, I always got to say something negative behind it. Now, I think that's a collection of all the stuff that I was neglected about as a kid or as a young adult, because I was in the impression that, I had him on a pedestal as my dad. You know what I'm saying? He was Mr. Fun-Go-Lucky. We cartoons, cereal, stuff like that. Just, it was always fun times. But this was early on before I was a teenager. And then when I became a teenager, it was like that's when you kind of had that molding stage where you start learning about the beginnings of life. And the old man, he picked the streets instead of picking his families. You feel where I'm going? So me, I guess I had some resentment. Well, I know I got some resentment because I still can't stand thoughts when I think of him. So the resentment that I had is from him choosing the streets rather than choosing me. And then I don't have no brothers or sisters, so it ain't like you had to spread that love around. It's just you had one kid and you couldn't even make that a priority. You know what I'm saying? So I just thought I'd give myself an example of collective trauma.
That's good.
Okay.
Any thoughts around that, guys?
So Rod had asked what collective trauma is, and collective trauma is like the distress of a group of people that's wrapped around a certain event, and that a group of people can identify with that event. And every time it's something like that's brought up, it impacts a group of people. That's my short answer of it. Matt, is there a different answer you give?
Oh, I'm all wrong then. I wouldn't.
No, we can go with that one.
No, you're good. You're good. No, I'm good. I appreciate
no,
you.
You're good, Kaneem.
Yeah,
you're definitely
we're gonna
good.
dig into what you talked about.
Yeah, because what you feel, you're not alone when you think about the representation or the narrative around the representation of Black fathers to the Black family. There is a collective trauma in that there are many people who would connect with you in what you're feeling, right? So that is collective. Right. You just giving your part, your contribution to the collective trauma.
Gotcha.
For Kaneen, and then we'll talk about the collective trauma specifically for you. There's this narrative of the Black father that hasn't been corrected just yet in Western society. Like we talk about the Black father outside of the context of a lot of the traumatic experience that the Black man in America has been under, and when I speak about this, it's never to justify the actions that our fathers and some fathers right now, even us as men on this platform, of how we show up. It's not to justify, it's not to give us a pass, it's to put it in context so we can understand, empathize, and then kind of build a bridge towards how we can help each other. When I hear the story of your dad, similar to my dad, similar to, I think, like what Pastor was saying, a lot of our dads, even those that were physically there, may have been emotionally and mentally absent in our lives, to then create another form of trauma, or another form of neglect. So when I hear your story, I think we have to put it in context, like that story isn't fully told, right? Your dad has a story that needs to be told, but also his dad has a story that needs to be told. And to understand your dad, you have to understand his dad. And to fully understand his dad, you have to keep going backwards to find out collectively, what have the men in your lineage been dealing with to show up in the lives of people they care about that way? People don't make these choices because they're bad people, right? I think it's easy for us to then consider throwing people away based on some of their actions later on in life or early on in life. Substance abuse may be one of them, violence may be one of them, drug sales may be one of them. And these things sometimes get spoken about out of context of what was going on around the time in their lives and their family and their community. So when we add all that together, it's not to say that it's justified, it's to say that, man, that makes so much sense that this person would show up that way based on what they were dealing with, based on what they have dealt with, based on what their parents provided for them, and so forth, So like, for example, for me, when I look back at my youth where my dad was absent, I had to look back at his youth and found out some information that made me realize that, man, he needed a dad more than I did. His dad actually died when he was 7. So he didn't have a male figure to kind of help shape and guide him on what a man should be. So then it was his turn to show up in a man's life, in a young boy's life. He didn't know what he was doing for real. He just dialed it in best he could, and then that's excluding some of the social, economic, all these other issues, political issues he was dealing with growing up in Haiti. And so add all of that to the plate, buddy's traumatized, and trauma, in short, this is what I'll say about trauma in short, that, kind of is not like a popular take, but trauma turns us into haters. And the hate first starts with self-hate, meaning you devalue yourself enough to not see your worth that allows you to then attach to negative behaviors, negative company, people that don't necessarily see your value as well, communities that don't necessarily increase or produce value in you, right. And then therefore it starts to rinse and repeat because that system is a part of what you think You had the expression, man, that's all I know. Streets is all I know. Right. It's because we then have adopted this understanding that, well, that's it. And then, start to formulate this idea of learned helplessness, meaning I'm not going to change. Nothing's going to change. It's never going to be better. And so that type of mentality gets transferred over from generation to generation. And then for those who are aware, like yourself, you're the ones that's breaking this curse. You're the ones that's breaking this generational curse by looking back and healing yourself and healing them by looking at them and saying, man, what did my dad need? I wonder if I was his dad, how would I have treated him? What did he need from me? Not like literally, but what would he have needed from me if I was in the place of his dad? What could he have used to then become a better dad for me? Those are the things we need to think about and then become that person for the people that are around us currently so that we change the wave of what's going to happen in front of us rather than the focus is on what didn't happen for us in the past. It changes you internally because now your thoughts are more positive. And if your thoughts are positive, so will your emotions, and if your emotions are positive, more likely than not, your actions will follow that same direction as well. That's for the individual. The collective, man, the collective, how we heal that is by having conversations about how the trauma impacted us. Sometimes we deal with trauma individually, but collectively, when it impacts us, I think we get radio silence sometimes because we love to talk about the hurt, but not the healing. We love to talk about all the drama, but not the process of recovery, the journey towards recovery. That's what our attention is more geared towards. So when we talk about it, when we stay in it, we want to talk about, remember 9/11, What about the healing process? What about the
Right.
people that have healed, that have gone on and done some great things? We still want to talk about the trauma, but not the journey towards something greater. So we have to change that focus collectively, as we talk about how do we heal? What does wellness look for our community after trauma? How do we get back to those normalcies and then create some of the the traditions, the things that make sense for us to feel different after we've dealt with collective trauma. So I think two things. I hope I addressed you, Kaneen, and talked a little bit about the collective trauma.
That's good.
Oh yeah. Thanks, bro. Appreciate that. Feel like I have to sit up on the couch now.
One of the things that how trauma is passed on too is the information we pass, kind of like what Matt was saying. I know, like my dad, the experiences he went through in his life and how he passed on different ways of handling those experiences for my life, even though some of those experiences weren't even around. But I was passed on the information such as, you can't trust this group of people. They'll always do you this way. Or, I used to fight a lot when I was younger because I was told, if, someone walks up on you and starts, running their mouth, you don't say nothing, you just knock them out, and there's kind of different traumas that he's gone through in his life, with drinking, with experiences and everything else. And then we usually wrap those experiences in truth, our own personal truth, but spew it out as if it's a collective truth for everybody.
That's good. That's the what you mentioned about, remembering, like you said, the hurt or the pain, but focusing on the healing or the ability to, what has happened after. How do we get through or past these traumatic moments? And look at us, on the panel, as far as just even having a discussion or having understanding and perspective of what has happened and getting clarity, and realizing that, the dad may not have been there, but his dad wasn't there. Like he's learned, like a learned behavior almost, and maybe not realizing either how to change it or whatever. But I guess, like, my question is, like, how do you keep the story on the positive and not focus on the negative part of it, the pain, because pain is always easier to talk about, as crazy as that sounds. Like it's easier to go to the darker place as opposed to speaking on the solution or what have we accomplished since then.
I think there's a difference between harboring negative feelings and reflection of experiences, right? And as we evolve as a people, I think we are less sensitive. We are desensitized to someone's trauma, and we have an increased sensitivity to our own. And when it comes to the subject of fatherhood, I think for us, it's difficult to get people to hear it. So you don't talk about it, right? Because we want to rush to the healing. We come from a place where you shake it off and you keep it moving for the most part. And you don't dwell on that stuff, right? And then you deal with the consequences of having something eating away at you, but never able to deal with it. So it gets passed on, that behavior gets passed on to the next generation, right? And I think it's important that we recognize the trauma, we recognize the pain, and at the same time have a healthy balance between acknowledging the pain. This did happen, and it was traumatic, and it had an impact on me and how I think. It had an impact on how my father thought and things that he put into me or didn't put into me. I had to learn this in my personal life, that being raised without my father, not knowing my father at all, I had 5 children. And I look at my mom, I looked at my wife, my children, and I was like, man, I'm the only one here who never knew his father.
Wow.
Right?
Right.
And so I was trying to I've tried to help my family understand that we see life through a different lens. Right. You've always had me, and I have been a provider for you your entire lives. I'm not perfect, but I've been here and I've tried to do the best that I can, but I've been trying to not be my father.
Right.
Wow.
And I had to learn to stop focusing on not being him and get comfortable being me.
Right. Yeah.
Right. And so my family dealt with years of me trying to not be him. And then we come to that realization and then try to get through the healing and explain to them why I was the way that I was before.
Right.
Right. So there's a lot that you can unpack there. There's a lot to talk about, but these are the things that I think about. And I realize, you only have a certain amount of time. You can only say so much because you have to remember that they have their own lives to evolve and to develop and grow and all of those things. So there's a lot of different dynamics that come with this because everybody's experience is different.
Absolutely. Yeah. I was going to say both, Pastor. The truth is you do have to have a space to process it. You have to have that space. And I think one of the points you made is that we probably don't have enough spaces where we can process it. So collectively, like I said earlier, there has to be a coming together where we can talk about and process and let go of, right? Of course, individually, there's work to be done. But I know for sure, if we were having a conference on trauma, as far as just complaining about it, everybody would show up. Everybody has a story. Everybody has a story to talk about, Yeah. But the healing aspect of it is still kind of foreign to us because a part of it is acknowledging our hurt. Right. The acknowledgement part is a healthy part. So for Kaneen, you're halfway there. The acknowledgement is there. I think you're ready to process it. The process then brings you to a space of reconciliation. How do you want to move on from this feeling differently? Right. And so in therapy with me, man, I give you that chance to talk about it and let it out. We can process it, talk about those pain points, and to see how they correlate to you in the present. But the bulk of our time together, we're going to talk about how it's different for you, how it's better for you, how you can get to a healthier state. What would that look like for you, feel like for you? How would you show up in your day-to-day absence of the trauma, right? Right. And so, of course, we will have the time to focus on it. And then, AD, you said, our society kind of focus negatively. Man, you're correct. Is there a good news station? Is there a news station that only plays good news?
Good news.
The Brothers Legacy.
Morning news. The Brothers of Legacy. I think we took a turn this morning.
So just a little bit. One of the things I was talking about last week when it comes to this topic is, the idea that a person I know that is from my hometown, and I know him, he's doing a lot of good things. Police pulled him out of his car, shattered his window, pulled him out of his car, beat him, broke his arm. And like the collective trauma we see when it comes to brutality and police brutality and the re-triggering, and also getting to a point where it just becomes numb. Like the passion that you have behind it, you just get tired of seeing it over and over, and then having to deal with people who say, well, get over it. Just get over it. That ain't, what did he do? Versus actually holding the, others accountable for their actions. And, sometimes, when you're trying to get over it and you're trying to move forward, the way you function is just going, functioning with it. So I often say, when they're talking about a lot of the things during the pandemic of all the people that, got beat and killed and different other things, there was a time where some people sat down with me and they're like, I'm sorry that you, for all that you have to experience. And I'm like, I don't think you truly understand this experience. And they're like, why? And they're like, aren't you angry about this? I say, yeah, I'm angry, but I function with that anger every single day. It's like, it's a constant thing that I have to really work with throughout my life because of my experiences. And the re-triggering, a lot of people can't handle it the way I handle it, which is, like functioning and knowing that this stuff goes on, but still functioning toward a greater good. What would you say to people who are constantly re-triggered by certain traumas that are collectively there?
Good question, man. Good question. Great example. I think what you're referring to is the individual's capacity. When we talk about collective, we're assuming that the capacity for everyone is around the same when it's not, so different people are impacted in different ways. Some people are more impacted than others based on, their own individual experiences. And so I think one of the things we have to focus is how to make sure. Okay, Thomas got the shout outs. Somebody is how to make sure we are not, just assuming that everyone is dealing with the same thing, like everyone is traumatized based on those events. And it's an understanding based on your own capacity. You know what? When do I have to turn it off? When do I have to make my focus or parse my focus to make sure I'm getting a balanced intake on this information? So capacity has to be something that we understand for ourselves to know, and this is too much for me, and so I remember 2017, 18 is when I shut down the news cycle was really rampant. I'm like, I can't watch the news, man, every morning, afternoon. I can't do it because of what it was doing to me and how it allowed me to show up into the world almost expecting it. It puts us in a state of hypervigilance based on the trauma. Trauma does that to you, where if you understand trauma, which is, a part of post-traumatic stress, right? What happens there is allow you to then live in the present, almost expecting what would occur to you to happen sometimes based on the level of when it's occurring and you intaking it. And so for me, I had to decide that I can't watch the news as much. I can't, when I see a page, testing some of that negative stuff, I have to. And not staying in ignorance is choosing for my own mental and emotionalness what I can manage based on what I have to deal with on a daily basis. Imagine taking in that trauma and then having to interact with my kids or having to see a client afterwards and having to interact with my wife. That collective trauma that we're experiencing is also transferable, and it will come out in my tone. I look, even in the way I interact with different people. And so you have to monitor yourself and understand your capacity to then make a healthy decision to say, you know what, maybe I need to just fall back for a little bit, take care of my own mental and emotional wellness, and then see how I can be impactful in another way. You don't have to be, for a lot of us, we don't have to be on the front line. We could be the water boy, just hand out water at the rallies or whatever. We can find ways to be effective. There's a lot of other ways you could donate to campaigns. There's a lot of ways to stay active. But I think sometimes what we've based on our society is repeat. I can't tell you how many times the news cycle just spin these stories over and over and over and over. And we're just intaking them, not knowing that it's causing us to show up into this world unhealthy. And so make the decision based on your own capacity.
Everybody's not going to be ready for you to change lanes.
You're right.
When you talk about shifting gears and going another route, going another path, when everybody's used to you being in that certain path, be careful. Yeah. People love you for what you provide for them in a lot of cases.
Misery
when
loves
provision
company.
Changes, emotion shifts.
Yeah.
You got to be comfortable and confident when you're making it, because remember, you're doing it for you.
Right.
It's for your survival. You can be better to your family, be better to your community. You can be more productive because you've made a decision to do something different. It's okay to shift lanes.
Indeed.
That's the word. Indeed. That's
I put that out there.
Yeah.
Go ahead. What were you about to say, Larry?
I can't. That was a mic drop moment.
Not only am I the president of the hair club for men.
So, but I guess I was going to say, because first when Matt was saying like the news, like he had us cut off from the news, doesn't that lead to build up? Like that doesn't it? If you're not addressing it or meeting what the issue, what's causing that trauma head on, or talking about it, doesn't it build up and then at the end something you had that blow up moment?
You could, but you also have to make sure when you understand your capacity, it's not just what you take on, it's how you as well. Like all of that has part of the awareness that you have about you. And I'm not just going to stop watching it and then don't do anything to manage what I've already taken in.
Yeah.
I have to then put in a practice to where I'm actually releasing as well. And that's different strokes for different folks. Like Pastor said, you can go for a walk, you can read a book, you can listen to some music, put on some eucalyptus and the, candles or whatever. But do what you have to do to make sure that you're processing that stuff out, talking about it with friends, and then making sure that the emotions you experience are something that you can actually let out. When we internalize it and keep it on the inside is when it festers and then manifests in different ways.
Right.
Yeah, because I had a recent incident where it was I got to I was fed up moment, and I was in this chat group. I might get removed from it. I kind of like let it all out. Like, I got to the point where I use it. Don't take it the wrong way, but I was like, a lot of people with these fluff community service projects that they do, like, oh, I just packed bags. Like, how impactful was packing bags, backpacks, and what change is going to really come out of that, or a community service project where I sat in on Martin Luther King Day is coming up, everybody, and one of the community service projects that I'm hearing about is sitting in the church and listening to speakers speak and commemorate the day. And okay, we doing a remembrance, but what are you actually doing, right? So I kind of all that I kind of like blew up and really like, hey, we, and I guess it's my own trauma, like, all the issues that are going on in different communities and not seeing change done, and it just led for me to like, all right, I came at them. I go ahead.
Here's what I'll say. This is my piece of encouragement for every sports fan that watches a football game. You see all those guys out there putting in work. They say the game is won in the trenches. Those linemen, those offensive linemen, those defensive linemen. And you got the running back, the wide receivers, you got the quarterback, you got the coaching staff and all of that. And you feel like those people make the game possible. But when the commercial break happens, what you don't see are the people giving water to the players.
Right.
What you don't see are the medical personnel wrapping an ankle, going under the blue tent. And what I'll say is this: when we talk about a team effort, I think that every role is important.
Right.
You use the example of packing backpacks. Okay, if they weren't packed, no one would have the supplies. Right. So right. I think we have to remember that every single role matters, so that we don't walk around here mad at the janitor. You know what I mean? We have to, and for some people, packing that bag was all they could do. I may be able to do more, but because I'm able to do more doesn't mean they haven't done their part.
All right.
Just a thought.
Indeed. Sorry, got distracted with a couple of things going on.
It's all right. It's all right. Let me add one more thing for Larry too.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think Larry, man. I think one of the things I learned, just trying to make sense of this world, is that the change we desire is not far from us.
Right.
I think sometimes we look way too far outside of that change when the change is really with us. So when you embody the change you want to see in this world, then you are always in safe and good company. We can't wait for others to create that space for change that we desire to happen. So if it's frustrating for you, that means that there's a fire inside of you that needs to be quelled. What are you doing to create the change you do? You can't wait for others or your community or whoever to be that change agent for you, man. You got to get on it yourself and then recruit like-minded individuals. 6 of us are right here, man. Let's go pack some bags. Let's do something.
I think, Matt, you hit the nail on the head. A lot of times what we get frustrated with the trauma of things is we feel helpless. We feel like we can't do anything about the things that we're experiencing or move beyond. A lot of times, people try to narrative keeps you in certain places at times. For example, if you go to AA, once an alcoholic, always an alcoholic, and a lot of times we feel like the traumas that we experience when we were younger, that we can never move past them. And if we don't honor them with our emotions and our feelings and our crying and everything else, then it really didn't, we're not really supporting, like, okay, so for example, my parents got divorced when I was a kid, and you hold on to that for the rest of your life. And it always is a point of contention in your life. A lot of times we got to learn how to move past that contention in our life and make it to a production in our life where we take the pain that we feel and the desires that we see and the need for a change and transformation, and recognize that we are empowered to make some of those changes, or we can be a part of the change. We can find places that can give us that outlet that's positive in order to make the transformation and changes that we see, or just be a part of helping someone else's process. It doesn't even have to be a great big thing. It could just be something where we begin to engage, where we find the responsibility of life, because I remember the experience I've been through, and I know how I've been processing through this experience. And now I want other people to understand how to process through this experience. Those are some simple things that we can do to kind of move beyond the trauma aspect of it to the actual, hopefully helping others heal, not being a Superman or anything for other people, but just being a part of the process of healing.
Right. Indeed. The process of healing. It's a lot to take in today, guys. So we appreciate you guys being here.
You started it.
You said I started. Wonderful. Look how we transitioned. Look how we shifted that. All right. Before we get out of here,
there's more.
There's more, right? Before we get out of here, real quick, Larry, what is our word for the day? Oh,
the word for the day. I almost pivoted. But I'm not going to pivot. The word for the day is bumfuzzle. Bumfuzzle. Bumfuzzle.
Spell it.
BUMFUZZLE. Bumfuzzle.
All right. As always, I'm going to toss it towards Kaneem. Put it in the sentence, my brother.
That's another one of them words I never used in a sentence. What was it? Perfocal? Perbuckle?
Bumfuzzle.
Would you spell it one more time for me, Larry?
Wait. All of us are in a state of a bumfuzzle right now.
Right, yeah. Spell it one more time for me, Larry.
Hey! Good. BUMFUZZLE.
Oh, ZZLE. Okay, I thought I heard you put a B in there. I was like, wait a minute.
Thomas got it.
You had me bumfuzzle.
We're all in a state of bumfuzzle right now.
It refers to being confused, perplexed, or flustered to cause confusion.
There you go.
Bumfuzzle.
Confused or perplexed. Bumfuzzle.
I'm gonna try to use that with my wife and see how she would look at me.
What you say about me? I know you ain't talking. Did you just say?
Hey, I'm saying, before I got with my wife, my vocabulary was very small. Let me say that. I was still using my South Houston, Texas slang. Well, it turned to Ebonics when I got
Mickey
here.
Picky this
But,
and Mickey Picky
I was
that.
using that part. And then I got with my wife.
Here's a bonus. Here's a bonus word. Here's a bonus word. My brother, who has the English major, he gave me this. I was gonna pivot to indomitable. Indomitable.
That mean you can't be dominated.
That's one word, Sean.
Bumfuzzle is one word.
Yeah, bumfuzzle is one word.
Indomitable. Indomitable sounds like indomitable.
You can't get me.
Comprehend that.
You can't get me. I'm indomitable.
Okay.
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 What is it, Larry?
What's the depth?
Someone who exhibits a quality of strength and resilience.
Yeah. I mean, indomitable.
Right. And
I can't be dominated.
Can't be dominated. That's the BOL term. Indomitable. All right.
That's probably another word I never use.
Come on, no, that's a good one, man.
Nah,
you can throw that in there.
You're gonna be like, I'm indomitable. What?
Come on, son, you can't touch me. I'm indomitable.
I'll just keep that. You can't touch me part.
He came up with that word on the fly. I was like, "What's the one of the words you be using?" And he was like, "Indomitable." And I was like, "What?"
Right? What kind of befuzzled vocabulary you got? All right.
Exactly.
Listen,
we from the same womb too. I don't got this vocabulary. I'm like, dude.
Hey, I gotta jump off, man. Y'all have a safe day, man. Enjoy.
Yes, sir.
Be safe. Get back home to your family.
Hey, don't be indomitable today.
We'll take up again.
Don't be indomitable.
Oh, okay.
Be indomitable.
Be indomitable. Yeah, I guess that's what
appreciate that. That's a good look, though.
Be indomitable, brother.
That's why we get in trouble, though. Being too indomitable. Y'all make sure you're following Matt JEANIUS on all social media platforms. I put his link up there. Make sure you click it. If anything, the very smallest thing you could do, listen to his music and share it out. That's that's free. You already got the app. You already got the Spotify, Google Play, Apple Play, whatever you listen to. You already got it. Let's go to Matt JEANIUS. Check out his music. Love it. Like it. Or even if it's all right, say, listen, what you think it is? Just check it out. Just check it out. Just check it out. Or send it. I bet you if you say it's the worst thing I've ever heard, I bet you they'll listen to it. Right? Go towards the negative. That's where we at in this season. Go towards the negative. All right.
It is.
Everybody focused on the negative. All right. So we appreciate you guys. The link you put up is good. Okay, cool. Thank you, Jeff. I had to read that. Make sure you didn't say it's bad. I made sure I put the right link. So make sure you guys definitely follow Matt. He comes on every Wednesday with us, Mental Health Wednesday. I appreciate him for sharing his time with us because he could be doing a bunch of things. He has his wonderful babies that needs his attention. He said, you know what? Hold up, babies. I'm on BOL. All right. So we appreciate him being here. So we look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow.
I got something for Matt. Matt, you think we ready to talk about men and crying?
We spoke about that before. I think we've spoken about that before. We could bring it back if necessary.
Oh yeah, we could always we're revisiting show. We go back.
Crying?
My comments starting to be
crying in baseball.
It was the man tears episode.
Right.
But hey, we gotta also talk about what's cry worthy. I'm just saying, Larry.
What's good? Why I gotta be qualified? I seen the flowers growing. I started crying. I was excited. No?
Anyway,
okay.
I gotta get out of here. All right, you guys.
Yes, appreciate you. Thank you. All right, we're rolling out too. Thank you guys for rocking with us. Another edition. We look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow on Legal Thursday. We got a lawyer coming back through to talk about the law. So I got my guys preparing to have this conversation. Again, we appreciate you guys for being here, rocking with us. Another edition of the Brothers of Legacy. If you or someone you love is having a mental health crisis, make sure you dial 988. Dial 988. And as always, know that we love you. Jesus loves you better. Stay safe. Make good choices. And we will see you in the AM. Peace out.